Welcome. You're tuned to the Urban Affairs program. It's time to get up for Urban Perspectives with your host, Pete Rhodes.
Welcome. You're watching Urban Perspectives. I'm your host, Pete Rhodes. This edition of Urban Perspective is sponsored in part by BMAnetworks.com. On this episode, we'll discuss community engagement and the programs and people who create the platforms for impactful, meaning interaction with our communities and businesses. I'll talk with independent film producer, dance company artistic director, and the director of GiveMinnesota.org. You're about to be engaged on this edition of Urban Perspectives. My first guest is trilingual. She speaks fluent Spanish, English, and corporate philanthropy. She successfully operated the largest single-day online fundraising campaign in history, raising $14 million for Minnesota nonprofits. She's a former manager for Target Corp Global Workforce Engagement and Community Relations. Now she's the executive director of GiveMinnesota.org. Please welcome Dana Nelson. Dana, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit on the Giant Steps program, and I was so fascinated with what you were doing and what you were accomplishing that I just had to have you here. So thanks for accepting the opportunity to come here.
I appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about what Give Minnesota does and how it works.
Sure. So GiveMN, our mission is to grow charitable giving in Minnesota. And we encourage people to give online, and we like to connect people, help them find what they care about and be able to connect really easily through technology. Mm-hmm. And everybody these days, right, is tethered to their smartphones.
Exactly.
So through GiveMN, GiveMN.org, you can go on, and we're kind of like the Google of Minnesota nonprofits. You can search for any Minnesota nonprofit or public school, charter school, private school, and make a gift with literally 2 clicks. So
is that what makes it so unique? And what people really like about it, they give a chance, get an opportunity just really quickly to give. I think
so, and you know, we make it fun. We have an annual day of giving called Give to the Max Day. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So this year it's November 13th, mm-hmm. and each year it just sort of, it's taken, you know, it's taken on a life of its own, if you will, right? Yeah. So every year it's just fun and exciting, and I think people, you know, yeah, people really do want to connect with what they care about, and to make it easy, of course, helps.
Now, what is, in your opinion, the key to successfully engaging people and corporate sponsors and so forth to really be involved?
Well, you know, I think we're really fortunate right here, especially in the Twin Cities. And I mean, where we're sitting literally right now, right? I think about the amazing companies based here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And they have a great history of the Keystone Club that was started with a 1% club where they give 1%, 2%, some companies up to 5%, exactly. Right? Yeah. So again, I think we have this history of philanthropy within our community and the corporate community. And then when you add individuals to it, it's just, I think, the spirit of giving that lives in our state.
Yeah, that's great. So what expertise do you bring to the position as the new director of GiveMN that's going to move the organization further in this future?
Well, I liked your intro. Trilingual is really interesting there, Pete. Yeah, you know, I've had a blast with this, right? So I started with the organization in 2009 when we launched the website, when we launched the organization GiveMN, and you know, I really enjoy the aspect of partnership building and collaboration. And we're a super small nonprofit. We have 3 full-time staff, and we love, again, reaching out to the corporate community, reaching out to the nonprofit community. We have thousands of nonprofits, big and small, that leverage the online tools, and we just try to make it as easy as possible for all of those players to come together and then, quite honestly, get out of the way, right? Yeah. Just make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. So this question of name a few of the organizations that you work with is just null and void because there are so many that you work with. I gather you couldn't even say one is better than the other.
I probably can't, right? Because I have to be like Switzerland, right? Yeah. Like I can't pick favorites, but I think, you know, it's really fun. So part of my title is literally cheerleader in chief, and that's what I do. I mean, literally the smallest volunteer-run organizations do great on GiveMN, and then the large organizations do really well. And I think that's part of the beauty of these tools. You know, it's like you kind of put them out there, and they're easy to use, and they're easy for people to use too. So one trend that we're seeing actually is that individuals can go online and create a page and then fundraise for the causes that they care about. So something that's really popular is that, you know, in lieu of birthday gifts or Christmas gifts or whatever you know, celebrate, you can give online. So you'd say, you know, instead of presents this year, give to my favorite cause, and you just send the link out to the page, and, you know, again, with 2 clicks, you've organized all that and sent it to your friends.
How has this impacted you?
Oh, personally, I mean, it's just been a blast, to be honest. It's been really fun. I mean, it's been challenging. There have certainly been bumps along the way.
Because I heard you had a moment where, after last year, you just needed a chance to let it all out.
Oh, sure did. I mean, last year, in our big event on Give to the Max Day, the website didn't work well. And certainly, professionally, personally, I mean, that's, you know, the longest day of my life, right? But I think personally, again, just to be in that cheerleader role and to watch organizations of all sizes and to watch people be able to connect and raise money in a way that's easier and more effective, and ultimately our communities benefit from it. And so, I mean, that's what it's all about.
What's the goal for this year?
Millions and millions of dollars for thousands of nonprofits and schools. So it's big and awesome, and I really hope we hit it.
Yeah, well, I hope that you hit it too, because you do a fantastic job. We're going to have to put that little link, give in on our website so people can go to it and do fantastic things. Thank you so much for the work that you do, the hard work that you do. Okay?
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate it.
Dana Nelson here. Coming up next, I talk with a performer, a teacher, and mentor who has performed with dance companies around the country. Join me for a conversation with Karen Charles next on Urban Perspectives. Welcome back to Urban Perspectives. Our next guest is the Artistic Director of Threads Dance Project. She's a fellow recipient of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, who also has trained with the legendary Katherine Dunham. She's a former assistant principal at Purpose Art School and is a founder of the Karen Charles Threads Dance Project. Please welcome Karen Charles. Karen, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
We're trying to put an opportunity to talk about this fantastic new, it's not really new in terms of platform dance here in our cities with the Coles Dance Theater, but you're doing a fantastic job over there, so thanks for being a part of that, and it's a great facility.
Yeah, it is, and it has been a great addition to the Twin Cities dance community.
Yeah. I
was given an opportunity for local artists as myself to present their work and have a voice and have an audience to hear it.
Yeah. How did you get started in dance yourself, and what inspired you to start your own dance company?
I started in dance when I was 5. I wanted to start when I was 3, but my parents couldn't find anywhere for me to take dance class. And so finally, when I was 5, my mother heard about this local dance studio. I studied there, and every chance I got, I danced. And she said, I always thought you would quit, and you never did. So then I went to college and majored in dance and computer science. And after college, nice mix. I'm even-brained. That's what I tell people, I'm even-brained. And I worked corporate for about 2 years and said, oh my gosh, I hate this. And so I auditioned for Alvin Ailey, got a fellowship there. And then I danced professionally. I'd had some injuries. My knees have not cooperated with me. But I always danced with regional companies after that. Then I went into dance education here in the Twin Cities when we moved here. So as you mentioned, I worked at Purpose Art School and was founding principal at Main Street. My father died in 2010. And he was struggling. He'd battled cancer for many years. And as he was going home, we learned that he'd always wanted to be a doctor. My dad was a postal clerk. And that made me say, I don't want to leave this earth having not tried to do something that I've always wanted to do. And so that's what inspired me to start the company. He gave me $10,000 when he died, and I said, I'm going to do one show, and now we're doing show 6. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. Great story. Great story. What is the mission of Karen Charles Threads Dance Company? How'd you come up with the name?
I came up with the name from my grandmother's quilting. It used to always amaze me how she could take these scraps of fabric and make something beautiful by sewing them together with some thread. And so thread is that connector. So our mission is to examine, expose, and celebrate the threads that connect us as human beings. And this upcoming show at the Cole Center, November 14th and 15th, is part of the exposed part. A lot of people are like, you're so brave to be doing a show about slavery. And I was like, I don't know if it's brave, but I truly want to tell stories and have people have conversations about those stories.
That's great. Now, in your opinion, how does art of dance engage collective exchanges in our communities?
Well, I think it starts with, Martha Graham had this saying that the body never lies. Dance doesn't lie. I mean, you can tell a story and someone knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling, without you having said a word. And I think that begins what I call the honest community collective conversation, because we can't have the conversation until we're honest, and your body can't lie. For instance, if you're not interested in me right now, you're going to be looking off somewhere else. And even if you're pretending to be, I will know that because your body's telling me.
Yeah. So your relationship with the Cole Center for Dance Performance, how did that begin? You said this is your 6th program now. How did you engage them to engage you?
I went and I said, I want to do this. I mean, it was
that simple.
It took, well, it wasn't simple. I mean, I went for like 2 or 3 years and kept saying, hey, I have this company. I want to find out what I need to do to perform here, be a part of this community. And, you know, just kept banging on the door. And
because I know last time we talked, you were doing a piece with the
Sweet Honey and the Rock.
Yeah, that went well, I understand, as well. Yeah, that's great. So how do people find out more information about Threads? We've seen some pieces on the website and some of your video. It's just fantastic.
Thank you. If they visit our website at threadsdance.org, they can find out information about our organization, the dancers, the work that we do, and they can visit the Cole Center website as well to purchase tickets for our upcoming show November 14th and 15th titled The Secrets of Slave Songs, which is going to be, I'm quite proud of it.
Did you write that, or?
I choreographed all 16 dances.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we'll have to see that and encourage individuals to get out and check that out as well. Carol, thank you so much for the work that you do and opening this whole atmosphere of dance up. Now, I note that at the theater previously they had this big hip-hop thing happening. And what was that all about? They're singing, is there an African-American that's over there kind of helping to direct some of the artistic happenings there?
Well, there really are. A lot of the staff are African American, but the Coles has really connected to the entire dance community, which is really wonderful. A lot of which is African American. Kenna Cotman, Maya Maiden, lots of my fellow dancers, Julie Warder, who do lots of good work, and they're finally bringing that work. You know, it's not on the peripheries, and they really want to be a community center that honors all types of dance, from hip hop to African to Native American. They have a Native American performance there as well, so it's great.
We're gonna have to get the steppers over there as well.
Yes.
This big thing on stepping.
Oh yeah.
Karen Charles, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Artistic Director for the Threads Project. We appreciate you. Weekly here on Urban Perspectives, we present shining stars highlighting people, places, and events that contribute to the vibrancy of the urban community. Our shining star this week is a filmmaker, producer, and writer who moved beyond local borders to represent the Twin Cities internationally as a film and music critic. Here's a look at our shining star, Alaina Lewis.
Hey, my name is Alaina Lewis, and I am a filmmaker, screenwriter, Senior Vice President of Operations for Smart Boy Entertainment, and I also own my own company, Electric Heart Media. I wrote a short film called Breakfast, and it was about a girl who has kind of been celibate, single for a year now, and she gets set up on a blind date, but her objective is to get the gentleman to stay for breakfast. So everything goes wrong that could go wrong on this date, showing you that you kind of need to focus on the present and not on the later. I seek opportunities in other states so that I can travel and explore the world, because I really understand. I woke up one day and I realized the world is round. I know we all know this, but there comes a point in your life where you realize, like, the world is round. There are 8 billion, 9 billion people on the planet. I don't have to just work with people in Minneapolis. I don't have to just work with people in Los Angeles. And so I started to put my feelers out there, and the internet is a great place for finding opportunities outside your doorway. And so every single month I work very hard to travel somewhere so that I can network with a bigger pool of people. I just love to see the world, and I love to meet new people. The best advice I can give anyone is to make sure that you study whatever craft it is that you're trying to do. I think one of the things that kind of drives me crazy, I think, when it comes to emerging entrepreneurs is that they would rather ask you a question about how they should do something rather than go out and research it. I think that a lot of the information you can get is out there. If you're trying to be a singer and you're trying to figure out how to promote yourself, that information is on the internet. If you're trying to be a filmmaker, you can go to college, you can go to Barnes & Nobles and buy books. You can search the internet, watch tutorials. I think anything that you want to do is attainable as long as you study, rehearse, and go after it with aggressiveness like no other. I'm Alaina Lewis, and I'm a filmmaker, and you're watching Urban Perspectives.
Thank you, Alaina. Next, I talk with an independent TV and film producer, social impact developer, and sought-after community engagement consultant. Join me for my conversation with Robin Hickman next on Urban Perspectives. In her own words, my next guest's personal commitment is to plant seeds of hope in young people and present visions of possibilities. She's the CEO and Executive Director of Soul Touch Production, a youth mentorship and media consulting company here in the Twin Cities. It's a mission for her to make meaningful media and powerful social impact experiences with our community. Please welcome Robin Hickman to Urban Perspectives.
Ooh, thank you, Pete.
Thank you so much for being here. As I said, we saw each other a few weeks back at the National Black Journalists. Yeah, they're coming to the Twin Cities. We're so happy about that.
Very excited about that.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to create Soul Touch Production? This has been doing a lot here lately. I know you've done a lot over the years, but what inspired you to create Soul Touch Production, and how important is it to engage our community through it?
Through it, Soul Touch, again, it was a divinely kind of planted in me after a very long career in public television here at TPT. But my life journey, I mean, as a young person, falling in love with the power of media making, but also social activism and social impact. And so Soul Touch is about, again, presenting powerful images of our people, but also using media to make social impact. And actually Soul Touch even goes beyond production. I haven't produced anything in a minute, but the social impact work. So it kind of combines it, and it's really about doing soul work, which is not about any particular race or color. It's about spirit and depth. And so Soul Touch, people didn't get the name at first, but now
it's moving.
Soul Touch.
It's Soul
they get
Touch.
it.
I like it. I like it. How can media, media sometimes, our industry is equated right up there with used car salesmen sometimes, because there's so many bad things come out of the media. That's the reason why we're doing this show, to showcase positive things. But how do you think media can create positive images and connections with our community? I
believe media does. I think we know that that's kind of the purpose of media, to tell stories. I think the issue that we have to continue to be committed to, as you're doing with Urban Perspectives, documenting the voices of our people and being intentional about our people, our communities, our young people, telling their own stories from their perspective, engaging them in their rightful place, as our mother, Patricia, raised us. Take your rightful place in the world. So take our rightful place in media making. It's very, very important that when we do that, we ensure that there's the authenticity of our voice and our experience. And so that's been, my commitment.
And I think it teaches not only showcases us, but it also educates others.
Absolutely.
About the contributions of other human beings in society.
Absolutely.
So you talked a little bit about Soul Touch, and you haven't done a few things and done things in productions in a while here, but you have, and I know so, with over here at the Ordway and
yes,
there.
Non-media productions I have done.
Well, talk about some of the productions.
Some of the things. So social impact. When I do a video or I do a television show, I never do a media production project without engaging young people that I got to breathe into years ago with at TPT and Don't Believe the Hype, which I'll talk about a little later. But the social impact work is Loving the Skin I'm In, which is a program that lifts up the esteem of girls of all racial backgrounds. I'm glad that Loving the Skin I'm in is now touching girls in suburban communities and rural communities and urban communities. So Loving the Skin I'm in the footsteps of Gordon Parks is another social impact initiative lifting up the legacy of the photographer, filmmaker, author, composer, Gordon Parks. And
relative.
And great uncle, who I just love and adore and miss. Again, and putting young people on a journey in the footsteps of Gordon Parks. My work in partnership with the Ordway Center for Performing Arts, again, I shepherd an initiative there titled Taking Our Place Center Stage, which is, again, an institution that is in partnership committed to ensuring that Black folks take their rightful place in the whole performing arts experience on stage and off. And so the production of social impact is become...
It's paramount.
Yes.
And you just finished over there what was the Cuban...
This season we are dedicated to lifting up the glory of the Cuban experience, the Afro-Cuban experience. Last season it was the African diaspora in harmony. So from September to June it was us through and through, many, many levels. And so I'm very proud of the work. But when you can work with an organization that is committed to authentic engagement, it's very, very important.
Now, talk to us a little bit about the program that our producer, who's sitting in the back calling the shots now, was worked with you on.
Yeah, I know one of the things I talk about often is a poem by Maya Angelou that says, the pledge to rescue our youth. And I will pose the question to the audience, but who's going to rescue the rescuer?
Exactly.
And I realize those you rescue will rescue you. And so my joy is knowing that I've poured into young people who are now taking their rightful place. Right now, my joy of today is that I'm sitting on the set with you, and in the control room is a young woman who I love, who I got to walk with and pour into, Bianca Rhodes. That's evidence. And I try to raise up in the village young people who would surpass me, do better than me. And she's one of them doing it. And I'm just, I can get emotional up here. I can get emotional. But well, that's evidence, and that's what we do, and that's what we come from as a people. So ensure that our next generation could take it to the next level.
Well, Robin, you do a fantastic job. We're going to keep bringing you back on so we can talk about some of the other things that are happening as it ongoing in our community. And thank you so much for being who you are and doing what you do in our community. Robin Hickman.
Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate you. All right. Thank you for watching Urban Perspectives. I'd like to thank my guests, Dana Nelson, Karen Charles, and the great and lovely Robin Hickman. Our shining star, Alaina Lewis, as well, and you, the audience, for getting up with Urban Perspectives. And remember, you don't need to just reach out. Just look on our Facebook and like it. You can also find previous broadcasts there. And remember, there are positive things happening in our cities. You can see them right here on Urban Perspectives. Now enjoy the photos of the week featuring the African American Breast Cancer Alliance Gala. I'm Pete Rhodes, and I'll see you next week.